Okay, in this video I'm going to walk you through how to submit your scores from SimNet into Blackboard for the items that you have due. So I'll show you the one for the first item, but this will apply to any that you've completed. So you complete your training, you complete your exam in MyITLab, and then you take what's called a selective print screen of your scores and upload it to either OneDrive, which is attached to your Fresno City, or Google Docs, right, account, and provide the links. And it should be links, not one, because there's a training and an exam score. I noticed this as I was recording, so I need to modify that. Then you also need to calculate your average for the training and exam and provide that on the submission text. Okay, so here's an example of what that text will look like. The only difference would be you would have, and let's do it this way. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and by the time you see this, you'll see it as I'm about to show it. Okay, so I'm going to go write submission text. I'm going to say my exam, and I'll say my training. Okay, so we'll make these headings like I've shown you before. This should be pretty easy by now. Okay, we'll make those also. I wonder if there's a painter tool somewhere. Painter tools are really awesome, but I don't see one here. Okay, so we'll link those in a second, and that would be like, and now you show me your mouth. So let's say you got 100% on the exam and plus 98% would equal, add these together because you're going to give me an average. So 198 divided by 2 would equal 99%. Okay, so that's the part where you this is the math. Even if it's 100, you need to show me your math. So now let me show you how to do these pieces. Okay, so let's come over to the course, and in this case I happen to be looking at the exam, which I didn't complete, I know, but I was just playing around today enough to give me some scores so I could show you. So before you take the print screen, it might help if you make it a little smaller, right? So if you wanted to make it a little smaller, you could. That way you wouldn't have such big files. But whichever way you want to do it, as long as it has two things, it shows me the score and it shows me your name. As long as when you take the print screen I see those two things, that's all I'll look for. And by the time you get to the third one, yeah, you might see more than one here listed. Not might, you will, which is kind of a nice reason to make this a little smaller, and then you can focus specifically just on the item that you are reporting. Okay, so let's say I'm going to keep it this way. I'm going to go ahead and hit my print screen. I'm going to go ahead and take my print screen. And in that print screen I can see the score, I can see my name, and you know, this nice little feature actually allows you to highlight things. I don't require that, but you could if you wanted, right? So then I'm going to hit File, Save As. Now I would also recommend putting it in subdirectories, creating new stuff. You might call it, matter of fact, I would create a 12 directory. Something that will actually have a hands-on exercise later, and I would call it MyITLab. No, I'm not going to make this a requirement because I really wouldn't know. I'm just showing you ways to do file management here. And then I would call this Word Chap 1. I think it was exam I grabbed. Okay. Good. Now you could even go further and put exam and lessons, but you know, you have to figure out how deep you want your subdirectories to go, and I probably wouldn't put it under downloads. I'd put it somewhere else, but I'm giving you the example. Okay, so now that I have that one, then in this part you've already been walked through, but let's do it again. I'm going to upload. Now you can do the same thing here. I'm going to have to go to here, 12, MyITLab, and there's that item. Here you could do on OneDrive the same idea, and it's actually uploading now, is you could create directories here and then have an organized way to put your items. Okay, so good, it's done. It's already uploaded that item, and here it is. So I click on the item, and this will be one of several times that you do this. You'll get used to sharing it. Under sharing, say share, and then get a link, and you can say view only and create the link. There you go. You can also do that nice little shorten it, right? You can, now it gives you, actually this is new in OneDrive, which is kind of nice. It gives you different shorteners, right? You can or actually it gives you different ways to share it. Sorry, not different shorteners. And then I would copy that. Now that I have it, I can hit close. Now before I leave, really important, make sure this is, anyone that can see the link, otherwise I won't be able to see it. So now in Blackboard I would hit, and now this was an exam, so let's actually do it correctly here. Click here and then highlight and then paste that shorten URL and do open in a new window. That's always good practice. And now I can see good that that is in there, and if I wanted to actually test it to make sure it worked, I would hit save as draft, and then I could click there to make sure it is indeed. But remember, what I've said here is if you don't log out of OneDrive, this actually doesn't tell you if those share settings are set up correctly, right? So if I log out, which I do here, before I do that testing, that actually is the way to test to make sure your sharing options are done correctly. Now, while we're waiting for this to all respond, because it seems to be lagging a little bit, remember, just like classwork, if you, after you submit it, you find that you are missing something, you can submit another one, but always submit all the work on the last submission, because that's the one I'll count. Okay, hope this helps you out.